Alright, let's start over. I would definitely call myself a dreamer. I've always had big ideas and big expectations for myself. And when I realized my golden birthday was approaching, I saw it as an opportunity for change and a fresh new beginning. I imagined that once I turned 26, I would feel like a completely different person. You know, being my golden year and all, 26 was going to be a year full of success and opportunity and comfortability. Or at least that's what I told myself. I imagined that I'd be living in a nice place with my little family, somewhere new and exciting. I imagined that my business would be booming and I'd be working with my dream clients and I'd no longer be stressed about money. But even more so, I imagined that I'd have my life together, whatever that means. The past 4 years have felt really stagnant to me, so I was really looking forward to turning 26 and basically having my life change for the better overnight. Well, I turned 26 2 months ago, and that is far from my reality. I very recently went through a friendship breakup and in turn lost some of my closest friends, which in and of itself is something really tough to go through alone. As much as Kevin and my family were there to support, no one could really imagine how that felt for me on the inside. But not only that, I also lost my job in January due to the company closing. Then after that, we found out our rent was going up, so we couldn't actually afford to stay in the apartment we were living in at the time. It's really funny how things play out so differently than what you expected. There is so much pressure from society and from social media to have everything figured out at this age. I'm always seeing people I went to school with having kids and getting married and traveling all over the world. I'm 26. I should be the one engaged. I should be the one buying a house. I should be the one with the successful business. Why does everything feel so out of reach for me? It does really feel like one day I woke up and I never made any progress after that day. Not in my business, not in my health, not in my friendships, nothing. In fact, it feels like I'm going backwards. I honestly started to dread my golden birthday or my golden year because I had placed such high expectations on myself. But as May approached, I had to let go of everything. Not only did I not have a big celebration with a bunch of my closest friends, but the lease for our apartment that we had just moved into a year ago was due to expire about a month after my birthday. I had to make a really tough decision. We could either find a new rental to live in, which would cost us thousands of dollars on just moving alone, while still carrying the burden of me not having a job, or we could move back in with my parents. Ultimately, when this decision was being thrown around between me and Kevin, I felt really defeated. It definitely felt like we were taking a huge step back. What did that mean for me? A 26-year-old with no job moving back in with her parents. I really didn't want to put my life on hold for another 6 months. Kevin and I were still unsure, so we spoke for weeks about moving somewhere different, and ultimately we pushed really hard to make the move work. We scoured realestate.com for weeks to find our dream property, and we applied to well over 20 rentals, but unfortunately nothing lined up for us to actually make that move. Everything in our life seemed to be pointing us in a different direction. So after weeks of stressing about packing and moving costs and rental bonds and all the other logistics, we landed on the obvious solution, which was to move back home with my parents. I'm sure you can imagine how thrilled we were about that, but after accepting the offer from my parents, the stress really quickly turned into relief. Knowing that by being here, I will actually have time to save money and look for a job and work on my business and better myself health-wise without the pressures of debt and, quite honestly, potential homelessness. It felt like the world was lifted off my shoulders. So instead of moving into my dream place, I moved back in with my parents. And instead of working full-time on my business with my dream clients, I'm looking for a part-time job. And I think that's okay. Maybe this next chapter of my life isn't about being the best at everything and having everything figured out, but instead, it's about building a foundation and diving deeper into my passions and finding myself again. I don't think many people my age would have the opportunity to pull back and kind of hit reset on your life like I am right now, so I am taking full advantage of that opportunity. And instead of it being my golden year, I am going to call it my gather year, as cheesy as that is. But I really can't wait to see what I achieve. To anyone else watching who feels the same way, it's okay to not have everything figured out. As a control freak, I need to hear that. We are all on our own timelines, and that's perfectly fine. So let's embrace this journey of uncertainty and use this opportunity to start over together.